Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I am Braden. This is Langley Outdoors Academy, the place where we not only talk about what's going on in the gun world, but also how we're going to fix it together. And the content that we're going to talk about to start off your Sunday is going to make your brain just ache. But we got to do it because this is about passing rights on to the next generation. And it turns out that MSNBC is upping the shock value a little bit. We've talked about that. We're going to hit on it again. And apparently, if you are white and you live in a rural area, Trump has just a grip on you, and you are now a threat to the democracy. You guys, please watch as much of this as you can and send this out, because this is something that we need to articulate and hit on, because this will be their undermining. This will destroy the left in time. Everything is going to be linked in the description box below, and please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn the notification bell on, and send this one out, because I have a funny, sneaky feeling the algorithm's not going to want to make this one go very far. But let's dive right into this, because do you guys recall when we did this little segment from Steve Dettelbach, and he had such an odd statement, right?
You know, I think the temperature on this issue is way, way, way too high.
The temperature is way too high. Well, we said a few examples, but maybe MSNBC heard it too, and they wanted to clarify. Check this out.
Their new book, out tomorrow, is entitled White Rural Rage, the Threat to American Democracy. And
you know what I love about MSNBC? The subtlety. This goes to something, and I'm about to show you some clips here, and we're going to break it down, and we're going to tear it apart, because they're missing something so base, and the reason that they are losing, but you and I get it. Anyway, you guys can let me know if I land the plane. But one of the things that is so key is shock value. We've hit this on the gun control side. I've said multiple times in multiple videos in the last month or two that they're losing the impact. Their shock rhetoric is giving fatigue to the left, the liberals. They no longer have the response that they want from the media around crisis, because they fatigued them. For 8+ years, they've worn them to the ground with one crisis after another, and everything's an existential threat. Everything's a threat to democracy, and the world will end if you don't give me money or don't do this action that I need you to act on. They're tired. We've covered it. Well, they've got to keep on upping the rage to elicit the same value response. More input for less output. That is a losing model. All right? Now, let me show you why the, quote, white rural rage is a threat to American democracy. Because, again, this is what... let's just let her talk.
we barrel toward a likely rematch of the 2020 election, one candidate continues to have a hold over white rural voters. But it's not Joe Biden, seen here as a boy on the right side of your screen who went to public school, is the son of a used car salesman, and was born to a middle-class family in Scranton, Pennsylvania. Instead, it is Trump here on the left side, a private school educated son of a New York City real estate tycoon who became a millionaire at 8 years old and didn't have to serve because he claimed he had bone spurs in his little feet. So why is it that Trump appeals so much to a group he couldn't be more different from?
All right. The reason I played that setup first is look what MSNBC is doing. What I just told you about the shock value, what I just told you about the inherent need for a crisis and an existential division to exploit. They are going after class warfare just to set up the segment. Look at Joe Biden. He was born middle class, son of a used car salesman, which, by the way, obvious joke there. That makes sense. And then he's just middle class and he's so great. Scranton Joe. Versus the evil rich man who was born into wealth, born into privilege, and you didn't. And he doesn't even relate to you. So why are you supporting him? Because you should be going for the guy who was born like you. These are the same people who say that everyone has a chance, unless you are against them, right? Also, the irony of Mika Brzezinski, who makes millions of dollars a year, being one of the rich elites in the leftist media. Nothing? Not getting lost on anybody? Okay, well, let's jump right to the part where rural white people, it's all their fault and how we're going to destroy democracy in America, even though it's a representative, whatever. Anyway, let's just keep going. Here we go.
And Tom, we'll start with you. Why are white rural voters a threat to democracy at this point? You would think, as we pointed out, looking at Joe Biden's background and Donald Trump's, that the opposite would be true.
I mean, we lay out the fourfold interconnected threat that white rural voters pose to the country. First of all, and we show 30 polls and national studies to demonstrate this, so we provide the receipts in Chapter 6. They're the most racist, xenophobic, anti-immigrant, and anti-gay geodemographic group in the country. Second, they're the most conspiracist group. QAnon support and subscribers, election denialism, COVID denialism and scientific skepticism, Obama birtherism. Third, anti-democratic sentiments. They don't believe in an independent press, free speech. They're most likely to say the president should be able to act unilaterally without any checks from Congress or the courts or the bureaucracy. They're also the most strongly white nationalist and white Christian nationalists. And fourth, they are most likely to excuse or justify violence as an acceptable alternative to peaceful public discourse.
I hope you guys brought your tent because we are going to set up camp on this one. I had to make notes on this one. I never make notes. All right, here we go. Let's jump into these claims because these amazing authors, I mean, they are doing such selfless work by going on MSNBC, setting up with that segment, selling their book, which, by the way, MSNBC is now complicit in peddling funds and energy and momentum towards their book sales, which is a racist book. No big deal. I'm sure they're perfectly fine. Their intentions were good, so it's okay. You got to break a few eggs to make a good omelet. But now let's dive into this. They're racist and xenophobic, and they are just absolutely evil. Really? Okay. Can we just kind of highlight the fact that xenophobia is a fear of change or a fear of anything different than you? And literally, we have spent the last 8 years being demeaned because we're gun owners, because we would dare think that we would have Second Amendment rights in this country. And, you know, it's all our fault. Everything's our fault. Everything's evil gun corporations' fault. And because you're different and you have a different opinion and a different thought, I'm afraid of change, but you're the xenophobe. Really? Really? And white, rural, conservative Christians are the most racist. You know what? While we're hovering around that topic, can you guys run a quick little story on the roots of the KKK in the South? How about the civil rights era? Can you do that? Because I'm pretty sure that all the KKK origins and all of the crap that was done through the KKK had the big old party with a D on it. That's Democrat for those in the media. These people are basically putting everything on you. They are projecting their own internal hatreds on you. How can you not love a person who's also middle class and you like the rich person? Says the rich person on TV. These people are into dividing people by certain buckets, whether it's demographics, whether it's economics, whether it's class systems. They're all about division and destruction. Oh, God almighty. Let's go to the next one. They're the most conspiracist. Really? Please tell me how the Russian hoax investigation worked out when you impeached Trump the first time. They are election deniers. Oh, well, really? I'm pretty sure I remember 3 years of a Democratic Democratic apparatus going after Trump, saying that he was not duly elected and it was a rigged election. It was not correctly decided, I think Hillary Clinton said, because the Russians rigged it for him, even though there was no evidence, there was no conviction, there was nothing to point to. But that doesn't matter because the specter of Trump. After all, did you hear that he was born rich? Goodness. You understand how stupid this is? And I'm on the second point. Let's go to the third one. They're against the press. They're against free speech. They are Christian and the president can act unilaterally. Let's go, baby. All right. Freedom of the press. Really? I'm pretty sure that the cancellation squad said you can't say things because it keeps people unsafe. It makes me uncomfortable. It hurts people's feelings. That comes from the left. Anti-free speech? Really? I can tell you from personal experience being canceled online, being demonetized online because my verbiage didn't match with the narrative that the left wanted at the time. I can show you multiple examples of people who have attempted to be canceled on YouTube, on internet, on Twitter, name your Facebook, name your platform. And the big consistency was they were conservative leaning. It's so odd. Then the Twitter files came out. That's odd. So don't look at that. Did you hear Trump was born rich? Yeah. White rural Americans are the threat to democracy because they don't believe in free speech. Okay. And the president can act unilaterally. Can we just go off the top of our heads of all the things that Biden has done in his first term that is unilateral because he's been smoked into the SCOTUS? How about we do those things that go in your arm that fix everything that turned out to be a big boo-boo? Oops. People lost their jobs. People got demeaned in public. They got shamed. All sorts of things. They floated the idea of corporations not employing people because they didn't have it. There's lots of reasons. I think the exact term from Biden was, our patience is wearing thin. Oh, yeah? Okay. Well, I got 3 lines for you, and the outer 2 are wearing thin as well. And now this last one, excuse violence in lieu of peaceable discourse. Really? Anybody remember, I don't know, entire cities were burning down to the ground because of I believe the exact phrase was, stay woke? Yeah. Those white rural Americans, threat to democracy, they just simply don't believe in anything about peaceful discourse, and they're all for violence, and they excuse it. Chris Cuomo, where does it say, he said this on CNN, where does it say that protests are supposed to be peaceful? Guys, I'm doing this off the top of my head. This isn't, good Lord, these people are insane. And that's just the second clip. Let's go to the third one, and now I'm going to wrap this up. I might put this in another video. I might not. This video is getting a little long. But let me show you what they did here, because this is something that speaks to something so much larger than what they're doing, because the Democrats are trying to play you with exactly what they just said here. Listen to this, and then I'll show you what the truth is behind it.
The trouble is that what Donald Trump gave them was not something that was actually going to fix those problems, but was just a kind of a way to channel their rage and anger. And, we've been told for so long, especially Democrats have been told, that in order to get rural voters, to get them to listen to you, you have to go there, you have to really empathize with them, you have to show them that you understand their lives, you have to, put on a Carhartt jacket and go down to somebody's farm.
Have a beer.
And maybe milk a cow.
Yes.
And it turned out that none of that was true.
No.
When Donald Trump came along, he didn't do any of that stuff. He was just a conduit for their rage, their anger, their resentment. And
oh, okay. He was a conduit for their rage, anger, and resentment. All right. These keep it clean. Keep it straight. All right. Here's the thing. What you just saw on MSNBC in a segment labeled White Vote or White Rage, what was it? White Rural Rage that's going to destroy American democracy. They just told you the Democratic playbook. Throw on a Carhartt jacket, look like them, have a beer with them because you always have beer with them. You know what? Why? Milk a cow, that'll get their votes. The thing that they're not realizing, and the thing that they are completely being obtuse around, is because rural Americans, while they are castigated as idiots and morons by these exact same people, they see through, because they understand people, they see through when you are just trying to emulate something to get something from them. You want to know why they went with Donald Trump? Wait, he was not because he was a anger oh God, good Lord, I'm getting all spicy. It's not because he was an outlet for their anger and rage. It's because their underlying core cultural beliefs aligned to what Donald Trump was saying, and Donald Trump didn't have to wear a Carhartt or a jacket or have a beer or go milk a cow, because the underlying cultural references, which are more important to the rural white or rural anyone people, resonated with Donald Trump, because Donald Trump was speaking to something greater than just having a beer or Carhartt or a cow. It was about the country that these people love so dearly being ripped away from them, and the main important was not anger and rage for these people. The main important part for these people was passing the rights and blessings of this country of which they were born into to the next generation. The conversation is about, we are going to lose this for our country because it's a country of freedom based on blessings of freedom. Not, oh, did you see how that guy had a Carhartt? Oh man, I am here for it. Goodness, that guy milks a mean cow. I'm voting D this next year. That's not the point. They don't understand. That is what they think of you. They think that you are dumb enough to vote if, wow, he had a Philly cheesesteak. Well, hot dog, I have Philly cheesesteaks. He gets my vote. Good Lord. And that's what I've got for you guys. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and I'll see you on the next one. I'm Braden. See you later.